Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. The question is often asked that are leaders born or are they made? And this is something that we often need to reflect and ruminate upon. And it's the question that's going to be the central premise of this entire series, as you might well be familiar with. Welcome to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Conversations, where we try to decode the DNA of leadership, but not just in the boardroom or at the workplace, but by trying to understand the leader in question and what goes into the making of the leader, their personal journey behind all the professional success that we might have seen happen so very often across multiple forums. Now, with me today is Ram Subramanian. He's Vice President, Global IT at Qualcomm. Ram, thank you so much for being here with us at the Economic Times Cutting Chai Conversations. And apologies for keeping you waiting as I have. All these tribals are working in the tech year.
No worries. Thank you, Karan. Good to meet you. A very happy New Year. I'm sure that all of us are working from home and we have our noises. So hopefully you will be okay with a dog barking in the background or something. That should be fine.
Yeah, I think "Can you hear me" is the most uttered sentence of 2020, followed by does it have to be on a Zoom call? So, anyways, I had a few questions in mind because I was reading up a little bit about you, Ram. Um, how would you describe your leadership style? Because you obviously had a very, very long, successful professional journey across diverse companies, diverse continents, even for that matter. If I had to ask you to describe it to somebody who doesn't know you very much, just maybe three, four simple keywords, what would that be? Ram, I think
Can you hear me now?
you are mute again.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
No,
Yes,
it's
yes.
the power went off. So it's the joys of working from home, right? So just like how we are adapting to 2020
Tell me about that.
and learning to
Really?
work and be patient of audio, video not coming through. So I guess leadership also is accordingly, it's very situation based. So it is, I think for me, certainly it has been what I learned through the years, what I learned from my mentors, what I learned from my team members. I think I kind of believe in three things which I tend to follow. Just as being authentic, like we just talked about, hey, am I being clear? Am I being audible, right? We don't want to put up a
Yeah.
show here, but we want to be clear and authentic. When we're talking with your stakeholders, your employees, I think that's super important to be authentic. If you say, if you don't know, I don't know this, I need the help, and that is kind of helping me to be to gain the trust. You be more authentic, you gain trust of the people, and while you're being authentic, you are automatically respecting others. So when you respect others, then it just happens mutually. So that all builds to a trust, and so I try to be authentic. I try to respect my peers, my stakeholders, and my employees, and also without integrity, none of this would happen. So integrity is super important to make all this work, and that defines an individual as such. So those are the three pillars I would say, which kind of define me and what I am today.
So, one of the things that really jumped out at me over the course of 2020, Ram, is that soft skills and leadership are perhaps more important than ever before. What have been your big learnings from the events of 2020?
So 2020 is again, none of us had planned for this, right? None of us knew such a thing is going to come, and our leadership style had to change accordingly. So there used to be I would say there used to be a phrase about leadership as leadership is a contact sport. But 2020 taught us that it is no more a contact sport. It is evolving. It is how we connect and be with our employees. So it's no more a contact sport, and we all have learned and adapted how do we work with each other in a remote mode, and how do we lead the teams, how do we work with the teams. That has been the big eye opener. So a lot of us struggle too. I personally struggled in the initial few months, but got to quickly adapt as to how it is happening. So I think probably for many of us in the India region, it has not been, or who are working in a global organization, it has not been that difficult because we are used to working with remote organizations, with remote teams, globally dispersed teams. So that is certainly a plus point, has been good for us. But all in all, but even missing our own desk, our own office, our own colleagues who we meet in the hallways. So how do we adapt to that? That has been the huge change for all of us. I learned a lot. I think I shared my notes with a lot of my colleagues, my peers, and I got a lot of inputs from them as to how we change that. Now we kind of, I feel that we are in a better form as to how do we work successfully without missing a beat. How do we continue delivering the work and achieve the goals of the organization as such? But I perceive this has been a very, very interesting for most of us, I would say.
I think that's a valid point you make over there, Ram, because you're talking about adaptability, you're talking about the need to change, understanding how you need to change, the direction you need to take. If you had a little bit of a, say, a wish list, for things that you wish IT departments, not just the one that you perhaps oversee, but broadly across the board, should change or should be aware of, should be working towards over the course of 2021 and beyond, what would those key pointers be?
I guess this is certainly a year which makes us all to be very, very proactive to anticipate the challenges. We probably cannot be in a reactive mode, IT specifically, because we are now literally the backbone of every organization. So we just need to help we'll keep our eyes and ears open to see that what are the challenges our employees or colleagues are facing, and how do we make that happen as an internal IT organization. And of course, when it comes to our customers also, how do we make the experience for them much, much easier now that they are very limited, at least in the major part of the world, very limited set of interactions in a face-to-face manner. So IT plays a much significant role. For example, I mean, we are facing one of the aspects is within our R&D organization. How do a whiteboard? I mean, earlier, 5 people used to get into a room and they used to draw ideas on a whiteboard and then come up with the solution. But now that's the challenge. So we do have a lot of digital canvas boards and all the options are there. But again, it's still not the same. It's just getting to adapt to a new way of sharing ideas, sharing thoughts. So as an IT organization, or an internal IT organization, we just need to be very, very thinking ahead of all these challenges and come up with solutions. So it's no more a pull from the employees, but again, we need to provide them the ideas because they don't know what they don't know. And we also don't know what we don't know, right? So we need to, that's why we have to really, really think out of the box and then to use the usual cliche of think out of the box and come up with the ideas. We may have to go through a bit of a trial and error in terms of new ideas as to what works in different ways. I know that some of my colleagues' companies where they had challenges with, they didn't have laptops. They were all working on desktops. No, how do I organize laptops for everyone in a quick manner, right? Again, these are some of the minor logistical aspects of it, but again, coming to provide a better collaboration tools is very, very keen for all our employees. And now, even though the vaccines are here, I don't expect a lot of the employees are eager to come back to work in the same manner as we used to work pre-COVID. So that's what we need to see as to what do we need to think, what do we need, how do we make it happen. So this anticipating of all this user experience and the customer experience becomes very, very important for an IT organization.
Now, across the course of your career, you've been a bit of a globetrotter. You've worked in the West, you've worked in the East. What are your fondest memories of working around the globe? And how would you compare the culture, of working, say, in the East versus the West? How do you compare the two of them?
That's interesting. So yeah, I had the privilege of working in these multiple locations as such. I think that kind of partly has shaped me who I am in terms of my experience and exposure to work with the different cultures in those organizations and those continents as such. One thing I always joke is that if you see in the US dollar, it says "In God we trust." So it all starts with the trust out there. Whereas we all know how it works in India. I mean, the moment, at least in the pre-COVID days, the moment somebody says, "I'm going to work from home," it's like, what is he going to do from home? Is he going for a movie? That's what it used to be, right? So there's always a trust aspect there. So that's what I joke. Even if you hire a new employee, we have this approach, at least traditionally, I can say, majority of the folks have this approach that I hired you, that's good, but you still need to earn your trust to become a trusted employee. Whereas it's very different in the West, where it starts with a trust surplus, and then because I hired you, you're good, so you work. So I think that's something, some of the aspects I see in the way organizations and teams work between West and East also. I think understanding that and keeping that in mind in terms of how we approach and how we give a problem-solving aspects are handled, it just helps us to understand the teams better and collaborate much better. Yeah.
And I imagine that travel is one of your passions because you've been exposed to a lot of the world, for better, for much better than it would be for worse, obviously. What's next on your travel bucket list?
Oh, at least I just want to go out for a nice resort within India itself to take a break without a mask, of course, right? We all want to go without a mask, without a sanitizer. Hopefully that day will come pretty soon.
So yeah, I believe you. I think this leg of the conversation is now going to be on the record, so to speak. So we can turn the recording off, guys.